What's up, YouTube? What's up, Facebook? What's up, Internet? God bless you. I hope that you have God in your life and salvation with Jesus Christ if you're looking for that. So I'm making a video today, and the video is about rap music in general. And the point of the video is I'm not gonna advise rappers on how to live their lives, but if there is any up and coming rappers that watch this video, they could take it as that if they don't want to, because me as a person, I probably started listening to rap music in like 2000. Tupac was the first rapper that I listened to. I didn't even start listening to him until he was dead already. But I was probably 11 or 12 when I first started listening to him. And I'm from LA originally. He's from New York originally, but there's a lot of rappers from LA and a lot of rappers from different parts of the country. I was also in jail with a rapper from Sacramento named Mozzie before he got famous. I've been in a studio with a rapper named Lil Uno from the Bay Area, the Pack. They made that one song called Got My Vans On, but they look like sneakers. So I've met some rappers, I've known some rappers, I've known a couple producers and, those type of people, and talked to people online. And I've been to prison before. I've been in some violent situations that are similar to what a lot of rappers deal with guns and money and jewelry. Never any, like $20,000 chains or $1 million record deals or anything like that. But a lot of this, what I've learned, and the reason I make this video is because some of my favorite rappers die young. And I know I'm white. I know that white people. I don't really think, besides being an audience, besides being a buyer, and besides being the people who originally enslaved African Americans, I don't take myself as a rapper seriously. I would make beats or make a studio or do whatever, but being a rapper, I wouldn't, just because it's that rap music is so tied in with African American culture, I just wouldn't step in. It would be too much for me. It's kind of like driving a lowrider with Dayton wheels. It's just too much for me. It's just not, even though, it's too culturally intertwined with races that have struggled in America for me to jump on it and act like it's something I should. That's just how I feel. So the main reason I'm making the video is because, like I said, some of my favorite rappers of all time are dead, and they're dead. I don't think they wanted to die that young. And at first I just thought, man, that's crazy, Tupac's dead. I can't really think of the next famous rapper that I really knew of as a fan of rap music who got killed. Maybe Nipsey Hussle was the first one who really I was a big fan of. And after that, I started looking at how these people died and why, and trying to figure out why. They had millions of dollars, they had cars, they had rap deals, they had success, they had houses, they had as much women and power, maybe not power, but influence as they really could want or handle, and they got shot to death. And another one that is really sad to me is Triple X Extension, but I haven't really figured that one out yet, other than the fact that some people say the most realistic thing I've ever heard that made any sense was that he talked a lot of trash to Drake and ended up getting killed in Florida with a bunch of money and robbed or whatever. And that kind of makes more sense than just getting robbed, because it doesn't really make any sense unless someone robbed someone else and killed someone that they would get killed just for going out and shopping with the money they earned. It doesn't check out. But the reason that I started to understand this is because what I realized is that some of these rappers that were so cool to me, they died in situations that I understood or that I had been around because of prison or because of gangs. And so the first one that I knew about was Tupac, like I said, but I didn't understand that more until later on in life. And then one of the first ones that ever made me sad was Nipsey Hussle, and I didn't really figure that out until the other day, because someone finally posted it and said why this guy says that he shot him and killed him. And the one where it first started really making sense to me was really truly one of my favorite rappers of all time, more than Nipsey Hussle, more than Tupac, more than all those people, and that's a rapper from Atlanta named Trouble. And he never really even got that famous. He would be considered a blood, being that there's Bloods and Crips all over the country, not just in California. And he according to what I read, but he wasn't super famous, but his music was great. And he had plenty of money. He had plenty of jewelry, he had plenty of money, he had plenty of success to make himself financially freedom and happy. But according to what I read, and being that I never met this person, I've never been to Atlanta, I've only reached out to them on YouTube before. Probably the most I've ever interacted with these people, his group, was probably they read my comments, if that. I was never had any business relations with them besides being a YouTube viewer, a customer to their rap music. But according to what I read, the way that he died was he was sleeping, having sex with someone who is in a relationship, a woman. And what he advertised in his music and what he showed in his music was not necessarily pimping, but he showed himself around a lot of women, be it strippers, beautiful women, all types of women. And I've been in situations where you are tempted to be with multiple women and to be dishonest and to be with women who are in relationships. And I've had people try to murder me because of that, because I had sex with their wives or had sex with, people. It's even in the Bible. It's in the book of Proverbs written by David or Solomon, or one of the lineage of them, that there's no anger greater than another man jealous of his wife, if I worded that correctly. So basically, a man who's angry at another man for being, and he's jealous of his own wife, or of the, that is one of the, so according to the King David lineage, that's one of the greatest, and that's the greatest anger that a man can have. So what I read was that Trouble was shot from behind in bed with another man's woman. So regardless of all his money, all his fame, all his success, all his millions of YouTube views and cars and houses and neighborhoods, he was killed over sex, which he could go to prostitutes, he could go to strip clubs, he could find a wife. I guarantee he could find an 18-year-old wife who was so loyal and beautiful, who would cook and clean and do anything for him. But he got, in my opinion, my humble opinion, he got caught up chasing the fast life of multiple women and different women, and he's dead. So that would be the first warning to upcoming rappers and people getting lots of money, is that it won't protect you from a jealous man's gun or a jealous man's knife or hands or whatever. And you have to take that seriously, because me, being a minimum wage worker at 18, had people, military people returning from military tours trying to murder me because I slept with their wives, and having $50 negative bank account, no jewelry, no cars, no rap success. He died the way I survived, and that's crazy. So going on to the next similarities and themes that I see in these rappers getting murdered or killed or whatever, is pretty much all of them summarized, and that is just talking too much trash. And I'm not saying defending yourself. If people bully you, it's hard not to talk back. It's hard not to talk trash. And if you feel like you did it in God's presence, then the only person you should be asking, if you want to apologize and ask people to forgive you, that's your choice. But if you did it in God's presence, be trying to be the best person with good intentions, that's the only person you should really be apologizing to or asking forgiveness from is God. And, sometimes people call me names or corner me and I say the F-bomb or I say this or that or get in fights. But at the end of the day, I've learned that going over the top, disrespecting people or insulting people usually doesn't have good results. And excuse me. And for example, like I said, the rappers that I did list would the first one would be, Tupac. And people say Notorious B.I.G. and Tupac killed each other because of all their beef, blah blah blah. I don't know. I don't really like Notorious Biggie Smalls that much. Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G. that much. But another one would be Young Dolph. He was killed in front of a liquor store in Memphis. And another one that, like I said, I don't really know about this one. I'm not really sure about it. Would be Triple X Extension. See, I always thought he got robbed while shopping at a car dealership, and I never understood why. But later on, I learned that he talked a lot of trash to Drake and his family, which I kind of understand. So apparently, he sent a song to Drake, or Drake stole a song. They were supposed to work together, and instead Drake just stole the beat or stole the flow, which isn't cool. I agree, but the only thing that makes any sense in his death is that apparently he talked a lot of trash, like diss songs, and talked about his mother and his dad and cropped pictures of his face on his dad's body. So now I kind of want to cut that situation off because I feel like he kind of had the right to do that if Drake did something wrong to him. So I don't really know. Maybe he talked trash to the wrong person in the car dealership. But I don't know. I don't know enough about that one. So kind of scratch that one off the slate, because I still kind of feel sympathetic and empathetic towards him because of that. But in terms of Nipsey Hussle and Tupac and Young Dolph, so with Tupac, what I think happened is he got involved with Bloods and Crips. He's from New York, whatever. He originally didn't have affiliation that I know of with the Bloods or the Crips, but if you follow his music career, later on he started getting way more violent and started mentioning the Bloods and the Crips and stuff like that. So I think, and if you go to Las Vegas, you can kind of get when you're in Las Vegas, this is the truth be told, not many people care when people die. In fact, they find it pretty entertaining. And I'm not saying it's good or bad, but it's maybe because there's a lot of history there, native history, mafia history, Native Americans, Mexican history, cowboy history, I don't know. But there's tons of good people and there's tons of fun things and good things to do. But basically, if you have a big mouth or a big ego and if you find the results of that, people tend to find it more entertaining in Las Vegas rather than sad. And I think what happened is he just got hot-headed, and he was hanging out with some, as one might say, high-ranking Bloods like Suge Knight or whoever that group of people was that he was affiliated with. And then I think what happened was he got caught up in the money and the fast life, thinking he was invincible. Not invincible, thinking he could do whatever he wanted, I guess. And then I think what happened was, because in the video of him in the casino, before he gets shot, I believe he starts a fight with a Crip. I believe he's walking really fast and aggressively out of the casino, and he steps into some type of what I think is a crip. Apparently, and what, unfortunately for Tupac, from my perspective, in hopes of protecting future rap artists from dying young, is he pissed off someone who wasn't afraid to kill. And even though Tupac wasn't afraid to kill either, as he shot at police and shot at his enemies and all that kind of stuff, he also seemed to forget that bullets don't have names. And if someone shoots a gun at each other because they're mad, it's not gonna matter if you're rich or if you're famous. You will die just the same, unless you're in an armor-plated car. So, or whatever. So I think what happened is he was with a bunch of fancy bloods, famous bloods. He pissed off someone who is really a gangster, a gang member, and next thing you know, they followed his car and killed him, or shot him enough till he died in a couple days, and they let him die in the hospital or whatever it was. That's really sad and not cool, but he's dead, or supposedly dead. But my guess is he talked too much trash to the wrong person who wasn't afraid to fight back, and all the money and fame didn't help him. So the similarities to Nipsey Hussle, the guy who killed him, is named Eric Holder or whatever. Apparently right before he shot Nipsey Hussle, Nipsey Hussle called him a snitch, which in the gang world or in the prison world is the ultimate insult next to being called a bitch or a child molester or a rapist. And you are supposed to fight back if someone says that to you. And if you watch the surveillance videos, the shooter goes into a Quickie Mart and contemplates. Apparently he looks like he's contemplating what he's gonna do, and then he goes out and he kills Nipsey Hussle. So whether Nipsey Hussle was right or wrong, he said the wrong thing to the wrong person. I've seen multiple videos of him. I was a big fan of his rap music. I've seen multiple videos of him mouthing off to people. Now the ones that I saw, I kind of agreed with. It was a reporter who cornered him out of his car, and he told the guy, screw off or we're gonna fight, blah blah blah. And the reporter, or the TMZ person, didn't really have much to say. But apparently this other crip who he called a snitch did take offense and took action against it. Another case of all the money in the world, all the influence in the world, all the fame, and they're dead because of something they said. Why did he have to say that? I guess for his gang, for his loyalty, for his pride, for his ego, I don't know. What if he would have stayed home that day? What if he would have just said, hey man, I care for you, but I don't want to talk to you anymore? Who knows? What if he just would have been silent? I don't know if he wanted to be dead or not. And then lastly is Young Dolph, which is another one of my favorite rappers from Memphis, Tennessee. And I don't know if there's ever been an official connection between him and Yo Gotti. But what's interesting is the person I was in jail with, Mozzie, who's from Sacramento, who I knew personally in jail for a month or two. After he got famous, he was signed to when he first got famous, he was signed to a label in California. It was, I believe it's from California. It's called Empire. And I remember when he posted on his Instagram that he had $1 million. And it was when we both got out of prison at similar times. And I learned stuff about his cases that I don't even feel comfortable talking about on camera, because it would be looked upon as snitching, and it was that personal of what he was in trouble from going to prison for. So when he got out, I was watching someone that I sat in jail with going to court over similar stuff, and he's getting, I was not jealous, but I was like, wow, anything's possible. This guy's getting 1,000, 20,000, that's the base number I would use for jewelry, because you could get a really nice jewelry if you're $20,000, but diamonds and cars and this and that. I'm like, wow. And I knew that person, but recently he signed to Yo Gotti's label, who's from Memphis, Tennessee. And what's funny is that before Mozzy was ever signed to Yo Gotti, Young Dolph, who's dead now, and Yo Gotti had a huge conflict. And I would side with Young Dolph just because of the fact that I like Yo Gotti's music, but there's just way too much strange things and way too much just suspicious and strange things that happen to all his artists and all people around him. To me, he seems selfish, and he doesn't mind throwing his own artists under the bus. Even I went so far as to send Mozzy a message on Instagram and warn him, like, dude, I see you going to jail all the time, and you weren't going to jail that much before you signed to this rapper. And if you don't think that's weird, I don't know what to tell you. But he ignored the message. He might not even remember who I am. He probably would remember who I am, but he probably doesn't care. He has too many females and other rap artists and millionaires and traveling and all this. But whatever the case, I pay attention to these type of things because I've been listening to rap for this long, and I knew about rap way before I ever listened to Mozzy. I don't even listen to Mozzy before I knew him, but I listened to Yo Gotti and Young Dolph before he was signed to them. And Young Dolph made an entire album insulting Yo Gotti, which I think was his downfall, because no one ever said that Yo Gotti called the shooting onto Young Dolph or was the one that called it out. But when you are constantly insulting someone and constantly making diss albums and diss tracks, and then you see this pattern of rappers getting murdered after they do this to each other, it only starts to make sense that that's what's causing this. Is this people they're so insulted that they decide to kill each other. It happens in real life all the time. Why else would you kill someone besides being insulted by them? Unless you're a serial killer like John Gacy or someone who does it out of pure perversion and sociopathic tendencies, so forth, or pain or whatever is messed up in their body or mind. And so do I think Yo Gotti should have killed Young Dolph? No. Do I kind of wish that Young Dolph would have had victory? Not necessarily say that he would have killed Yo Gotti, because I actually liked Yo Gotti. But do I wish that he would have prevailed in that situation? Yes. But what I do notice is Yo Gotti, I can't think of a single diss track or album or any verbal insult that he ever actually made to Young Dolph, which speaks volumes. But I actually recently have lost my interest in Yo Gotti, rest in peace to Young Dolph, not because of the fact that I believe his henchmen or his gang killed Young Dolph, but because of the fact that I started seeing the patterns of his artists. It almost seems like he looks for artists who he knows he can make money off of, and then doesn't stop them from getting in situations where he knows, I don't know how it works, maybe he has the rights to their music or to their shows or to their copyright laws or to their royalties, and then he allows them, maybe by ego or by there's just too many people going to jail and getting killed around him, to the fact that it looks bad on him. To me, it makes him look like he works with the police, to me, and that in the rap world is just as bad as being a snitch, a bitch, a child molester, a rapist. So I've recently stopped being a fan of Yo Gotti, and like I said, I tried to message Monty, but I don't think he cares, so whatever. But yeah, so there's my video to any up and coming rapper who hopefully watches this video, is to say, be smart. You know, obviously we all go through violent situations, we all through crazy situations, but if you have the power to walk away or be silent, if you haven't, if you said it, if you've done it and done it, you should seek God and Jesus Christ. And then you'll really test your conscience of who's giving you a guilt trip or an accusation versus something you actually feel is wrong that you did, that before God. Because at the end of the day, God's going to protect you. Jesus Christ is going to protect you. And if you die, that's who you're going to go see, not the person you were beefing with or fighting with. And so, I mean, I've been in situations where I'm bored of life and I feel like I'm ready to die or like ready to die or you know, kind of like not seeking death, but like don't mind being in situations where you know death is possible, and it's not a safe or smart place to be. So if you are someone who's becoming successful in getting away from gang violence or prison violence or violence in general or domestic abuse or whatever, drug addiction, suicide, just be thankful for what you have and realize that if these people aren't at your front door threatening your life, that's their problem. They probably just want attention. They're the one trying to affect how you think and if it was a big enough issue, they would make it known to you or said to you. And at that point, it's in your court what to do, to get away from them or respond or whatever. But I think to go so far as to make an entire album or just continually insult people to the point of making it more of a social media thing or a ego thing is putting your own health and career and money at risk. So God bless. Jesus Christ is King. And please like and subscribe or comment, whatever, interact. Any questions, and I hope that you have a good morning, afternoon, or evening. Goodbye.